Is it Nicky case? Evolution of trusts? You guys know this game. Here, let's play a quick game of the evolution of trust since we've got time together anyways, because I feel like this will just really give you guys an idea of the kind of ways that I think about games. During let's not overlap music. During World War I, peace broke out. It was Christmas 1914 on the Western Front. Despite strict orders not to chillax with the enemy, British and German soldiers left their trenches, crossed no man's land, and gathered to bury their dead, exchange gifts, and play games. Meanwhile, it's 2017. The West has been at peace for decades, and wow, we suck at trusts. Surveys show that over the past 40 years, fewer and fewer people say that they trust each other. So here's our puzzle. Why, even in peacetime, do friends become enemies? And why, even in wartime, do enemies become friends? I think game theory can help explain our epidemic of distrusts and how we can fix it. So let's all understand this. Let's play a game. That's a trustworthy thing to hear an AI say, isn't it? Let's play a game. The game of trust. You have one choice. In front of you is a machine. If you put a coin in the machine, the other players get 3 coins, and vice versa. You can either choose to cooperate, put in a coin, or cheat. Don't put in a coin. Let's say the other player cheats and doesn't put in a coin. What should you do? Well, guys, what do you think? What should we do in that case? Should we cheat or cooperate? I mean, he's cheating. So it might just be the right idea to, do unto others as they do unto you. But I also know game theory. So there might be a reason why the question is even being posed. It might be worth finding out then. Let's choose cheat for now. Exactly. Why let that moocher mooch off of you? If you cooperate and they cheat, you lose a coin while they gain 3. However, if you both cheat, neither of you gain or lose anything. Therefore, you should cheat. But let's say the other player cooperates and puts in a coin. What should you do now? Well, they're putting in a coin? I'm going to get 3 coins, but they're going to lose a coin. Let's cheat again. Wow, that's mean. And also, the correct answer. Because if you both cooperate, you both give up a coin to gain 3, plus 2, plus 2. But if you cheat and they cooperate, you gain 3 coins at the cost of 1. Therefore, you quote-unquote should still cheat. The math works out. That is better for you to cheat. And that's our dilemma. Trust is nice, but it can let others take advantage of you. Or shoot you as you come unarmed out of a trench. Sometimes, distrust is rational. But now, what happens if we play this game more than once? Now let's play for real. You'll be playing against 5 different opponents, each with their own game strategy. With each opponent, you play anywhere between 3 to 7 rounds. You won't know in advance when the last round is. Can you trust them? Or rather, can they trust you? So I'm gonna cheat on the first coin. And I've clearly upset my friend here. I am now up 3. They are down 1. But I'll be honest, I don't feel good cheating. I mean, it feels nice that I got a slight advantage on him, but I don't need more than a slight advantage. So I'm going to cooperate the second time. He cheated that time. He cheated because I cheated. He wrote, he. That was retribution for my action. So I'm going to cooperate again. We still come out equal, because he cheated me right back. So I'm going to cooperate again. And I'm going to cooperate one more time. Alright, that worked out for me. So who's this guy with the hats? What do you think he does? I'm going to do the same strategy that I did before. I'm going to start by cheating. Alright. I cooperated that time, and he cheated me. So now, I'm going to cheat him. And he keeps cheating me, so I'm going to keep cheating him. And that is the only way that I can win in that situation. This girl has a very beautiful pink hat. I would feel terrible cheating her, so I'm just going to cooperate. And she's going to cooperate right with me. And now we've got a cowboy. I'm going to start by cooperating. I'm going to cooperate 3 times, and then cheats. And then I'm going to cooperate again. Interesting. This guy has a detective hat. I'm going to start by cheating and see what he does. And then I'm going to cooperate. Interesting. He's not mad at me now. It's a very, very simple. I love their faces. They're such adorable little faces, aren't they? So, here's a problem that I see with what's going on. It is very easy to not know who to trust. The copycat starts with cooperates and afterwards he just copies whatever I did the last rounds. The cheat always cheats. The cooperate always cooperates. The grudger, on the other hand, will cooperate with you until the moment you cheat them, and they will always cheat you after that. And then, of course, the detective will look at what you do, and then he will try to cooperate, cheat, cooperate, and then cooperates. If you cheat back, he acts like a copycat. And if you never cheat back, he acts like an always cheat to exploit you. So, these are the little guys who are in our little game. So what happens if these characters were to play against each other? It's tournament time. Each character will now play against each other. That's 10 paired matches and 10 rounds per match. Who do you think will get the highest total score? Think carefully about it, and then place your bets. What do you guys think? Which job do you think will get the highest score? I'll give you guys a second to respond before I make a choice. Unless you guys don't have a response. This is you, no game theory after all. Alright, let's see if it's the detective. Thank you for that, Evan. Copycat versus always cheats. Oh, by the way. Copycat versus always cooperates. You may be skeptical about that Christmas truth story about the World War I trenches. Surely that was just a fluke. Copycat versus grudger equals scores 20 plus 20. Data 20. Yes. The truth was dramatic, but it was neither unique nor unusual. Copycat versus detective. 18 versus 18. Not every trench joined in the piece, but it was pretty widespread. Many front lines came up with the idea independently, and again, despite specific strict orders not to. Always cheat versus always cooperate leaves with the always cooperate at -10 they whine. And in fact, even before Christmas, several front lines had already established an unofficial secret peace. Always cheat versus grudger, +3 to -1, because they lock each other out. They called it the live and let live system. Basically, you don't shoot me, and I won't shoot you. And this worked in a lot of places. Always cheat versus detective, +9 versus -3. Yeah, the detective isn't doing nearly as well as you might think. His strategy sounds intelligent, but it takes a lot to set up, and he can be offset if you're cheated early. You may be skeptical. Most soldiers don't spontaneously form peace with the enemy, so what's so special about trench warfare? Always cooperate versus grudger, +20 versus +20. Well, here's what's unique about the trenches. Almost unlike every other form of war, you have to face the same specific soldiers every day. Always cooperate versus detective, -1 versus 27. It's a repeated game, and that makes all the difference. Anyway, the winner is... Drum roll, please. The copycat. Apologies to your bet, detective. Copycat goes by many names: the golden rule, reciprocal altruism, tit for tat, or live and let live. That's why peace could emerge in the trenches of World War I. When you're forced to play the same game with the same specific people over and over again, Copycat doesn't just win the battle, it wins the war. But if things change a lot when you play a multitude of rounds of the same game, what if we play multiple tournaments? Now let's let our population of players evolve over time. It's a 3-step dance. Play a tournament. Let all of them play against each other and tally up their scores. Eliminate losers. Get rid of the 5 worst players. If there's a tie, pick randomly between them, and then reproduce winners. Clone the best 5 players. If there's a tie, pick randomly between them, and repeat for as long as you'd like. You don't have to wait for people to literally die and reproduce for culture to evolve. All that's needed is unsuccessful behaviors go away, and successful behaviors are imitated. So now, let's see this in action. Say we start with the following population of players. 15 always cooperates, 15 always cheats, and 5 copycats. We'll ignore Grudger and Detective for now. We're going to do the tournament eliminate reproduce dance a dozen times or so. So, let's make another bet. Who do you think will win the first tournament? Who do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be all cooperate, all cheat, or copycat? I'll give you guys a second to respond if you guys have an idea. Thank you, Thunder Nugget. Yeah, let's select Copycat. Copycat did win before. Makes sense. Copycat won the tournament last time. Why not again? Let's see if you're correct. Alright, now we eliminate the bottom 5. Which are all going to be, always cooperates. And then we reproduce the top 5, which happen to be always cheats. Alas, Copycat did not win, but at least they didn't do as bad as always cooperates. They got eaten up by always cheats whose numbers have now increased by 5, but let's try a few more rounds of this. Always cheat is still growing at the expense of always cooperates. And now all of the always cooperates are dead, but waits. That's right, always cheats became a victim of their own success. They exploited the naive, always cooperators. But once they ran out of them, they had to face the copycats who are nice, but not naive. By simply copying the other player's moves, copycats can play nice with each other, while always cheats just cheat themselves. Not always that. But it also means that Copycat can give always cheat a taste of their own medicine. And so, as a result, copycats inherit the earth. So in the long run, you are right, Copycat wins always cheat may have won from the short run, but its exploitativeness was its downfall. Now, this reminds me of a quote. We are punished by our sins, not for them. Albert Hubbard. Oh, and by the way, the result is similar even if we put the detective and Grudger back in. Note: sometimes a few Grudgers may stick around because when all players except Grudger and Copycat are eliminated, the game is over. 2 tie. So it seems like the math of the game theory is telling us something. That Copycat's philosophy, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, may not just be a moral truth, but also a mathematical truth. However, there is a problem. Look around. The world's full of total jerkwads. If copycat is the strategy in this repeated game of trust, that's so powerful that even soldiers in World War I trenches independently evolved a similar strategy, called live and let live. Why then are there so many untrustworthy people? What's causing our epidemic of untrusts? A clue is in that sentence itself. This repeated game of trusts. So far we've only talked about change in the players. What about a change in the game? What could lead to an evolution of distrust? Before everything goes to heck, let's start with something nice. Here's a world filled entirely with always cooperates except for one always cheats and one copycats. As you already know, the copycat wins handily in the long run under our current rules. But under our current rules, which say that the players play against each other for 10 rounds per match, does copycat still win at 7 rounds? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bore. Change the number of rounds, and then start the sim. Ease. Yeah, the copycat still wins at 7. But he loses at 5. That's interesting. What happens at 1? Oh, wait, Dan, I jumped. As you saw, if you don't play enough rounds, 5 or less, always cheat dominates. In 1985, when Americans were asked how many close friends they had, the most common answer was 3. In 2004, the most common answer was 0.I. Now we have fewer friends across class, racial, economic, and political lines because we have fewer friends, period. And you just discovered for yourself. The fewer repeat interactions there are, the more distrust will spread. No, mass media doesn't count. It must be two-way interactions between specific individuals, and oh, it gets worse. There's another way to breed distrust. Here are the payoffs for the trust game. With the normal payoffs, copycat wins. But now, change both cooperate rewards from +2 to +1, and then press starts. Even though +1 is still more than the punishment for both cheating, 0, what happens? The cheaters still win. Because the equitably balance out the cost of cheating. The same thing happens with a lower win-win reward. Always cheat takes over. Game theory has two powerful ideas about this. The zero-sum game. This is sadly Cameron's belief that for us too, that a gain for us must come at a loss for them, and vice versa. And in a non-zero-sum game, where people make the hard effort to create a win-win solution. Without the non-zero-sum game, trust cannot evolve. Speaking of which, now let's look at our third final barrier to the evolution of trust: mistakes. Hello, unholy fat men. Welcome in. It's so good to see you. I was out on vacation. I can tell you about that after we go through what we're doing right now. But right now, we're doing Nicky Case's explanation of game theory. So just give me a second on it. I'm so glad to see you. Thank you for stopping in. As cool as copycat is, it has a huge fatal weakness I haven't mentioned yet. To understand the problem, let's say two copycats are playing against each other. Being nice players, both their first moves will be cooperates. And normally they just kind of pay back each other's kindness and sing kumbaya until the end of time. But what if, while trying to reciprocate goodness, Mistakes, miscommunication, misinterpretations. Accidents happen all the time in real life. But what if the other person doesn't think it was an accident? He cheats because he thought it wasn't. Cheats. He's a copycat. He has to retaliate. And you, being a copycat as well, will also have to retaliate. Thus, like the Hatfields and McCoys, these two copycats will spiral into an endless cycle of vengeance that started over a single mistake long ago. Tragic. But now there are other types of players who can deal with mistakes. Let's meet some new faces. The Copy Kitten. Hello? I'm like the copycat. Except I cheat back only after you cheat me twice in a row. After all, the first could be a mistake. Her. Simpleton. Hi, I try to start cooperative. If you cooperate back, I do the same thing as last move, even if it's a mistake. If you cheat back, I do the opposite as last move, even if it's a mistake. And then random monkey robot ninja pizza tacos. Lol, I'm so random. Just plays cheetah cooperate randomly with a 50-50 chance. Alright, so now let's see how these people do when they play in a tournament. Don't get ahead of us, cop. Okay, well, Avon, you definitely knew what was coming. Let's start with a dozen, I think. I think Copy Kitten will come out on top, because that's what Avon said. Let's start it up. Oh no! Alright, you bet Copy Kitten wins, but my bet was no cigar. Simpleton wins. This is because Simpleton is actually capable of exploiting always cooperates. They both start cooperating, but if Simpleton makes a mistake and cheats, always cooperate, never retaliates. The Simpleton keeps on cheating. Now let's try. Now let's try the same thing as before. Instead of always half always cooperate, it's half always cheat. It's a much less forgiving, more hostile environments. Who do you think is going to win now? Think, then place your bets. So now, it's half always cheat. There's a lot less vulnerability, right? So, the people that the always cheats are going to do, are you going to take over? Are going to be the simpletons. Because the simpletons are going to be weird, right? Yeah. Let's say Copy Kitten again. You bet on Copy Kitten and you were right on the money. Copy Kitten wins this time. That's surprising. Even with a meaner starting population, a more forgiving version of the copycat was the most successful. Copy Kitten is so forgiving that it doesn't even entirely wipe out copycats. It shares room. In this case, a bit of miscommunication, 5% chance of mistake each round, could lead to more forgiveness. But is this true for all levels of miscommunication? Let's move the slider to 10%. No, those Copy Kittens immediately suffered. Now, let's go down to 1%. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Copy Kitten does even better. The results turn out something like this. At 0%, the fair copycat wins. At 1 to 9%, the copy kitten wins. At 10 to 49%, the unfair, unforgiving, always cheat wins. At 50%, nobody wins ever. This is why miscommunication is such an interesting barrier to trust. A little bit of it leads to forgiveness, but too much, and it leads to widespread distrust. I think our modern media technology, as much as it's helped us increase communication, increased our miscommunication much more. At last, let's experiment with all the numbers, knobs, and sliders. Let's play in the sandbox mode. I'm not gonna do the sandbox mode. I'd like you guys to be able to do that yourselves. So I'm going to drop that link into chats. That's a very good point you make there, Thunder Nuggets, with the amount of misinformation, disinformation, and null information that exists not as a conscious and specialized effort, but the opportunity for miscommunication. It does mean that we have to be conscious of what trust actually is. It doesn't mean we should be. Copycats are always cooperates, but it does mean that. We do need a strategy like the copy kitten that does accommodate for miscommunication. And you also have to be aware of the environment in which you're operating. Like you. You don't want to go to the casino and assume that everyone's and always cooperates. That would be a very foolish move. But you could also make a terrible mistake. Becoming a grudger in an environment of always cheats. As was demonstrated, the grudger does not survive against always cheats. He breaks just under even, so he eventually loses out. Anyway, this is a really important piece of information, a really important simulation of game theory. And the reason that I brought this up is because it's this kind of stuff that really goes into everything that we are designing for our game. And a lot of this comes from the research and work of John Nash. I would not watch the movie about him, A Brilliant Mind. But the book about him is much better. Anyway, that was a 30-minute sidetrack. Goodness. Thank you guys for letting me just go on and on about that. If Unholy Fat Man is still here, I'd love to take the opportunity to let you know about my vacation before we go. Because I do have just another maybe 10 minutes to stream and then I've got to go. Oh, good. You're still here, thank you, Unholy Fat Man. I just wanted to make sure you got to hear that. The woman took the dogs, specifically a golden retriever, up a mountain. They made it to 8,603 feet elevation and summited a mountain. And they got pictures. there's going to be some video editing so that we can have a cute little like slideshow thing I can show off for you guys.